Week 1 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few defense DST units I would start this week. First one, the Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos, we know their defense has always been solid over the last few seasons, and now a decent home game versus Jimmy Garoppolo and the Vegas Raiders coming to town for the home opener. So Mile High always helps with the altitude and the troubles breathing for the other teams coming in. And right here, I think they could get past this weak Las Vegas Raider offensive line and cause some havoc on Jimmy Garoppolo and this Raider team. I know they got some good weapons, obviously, in Josh Jacobs, who's back after holding out, and Devontae Adams. But besides that, the offensive line isn't all that great. They traded Darren Wall in the offseason. And this Bronco team with Sean Payton, I think they're going to come out with a good energy here and be a defense that could be a solid top 15, top 18 defense this season. But here with a good matchup week 1 and ready to go. We're also, when you got a shutdown corner like Patrick Surtain, which helps a lot as well. I think this Bronco team has a good performance, and their defense, I would start this week. The next defense, the Seattle Seahawks. So right now, Los Angeles Rams, division rival, coming to town here in week 1 versus the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks team, if you need a defense, they're available right now in tons of fantasy leagues at 86%. So they got a good matchup coming up. Cooper Kupp most likely out right now for this Los Angeles Ram team, where he's nursing a hamstring injury. And Matthew Stafford, his offensive line isn't all that great as well, and he's coming off a season-ending injury last season as well. So everything lines up perfectly, in my opinion, for the Seattle Seahawks team. And their defense DST unit, that I know they haven't been the greatest over the last few seasons, especially after everyone from the Legion of Boom left or retired or whatever the case may be. They've been trying to build this defense over the last few seasons. But right here with a good matchup versus Matthew Stafford and a Ram offense with not many playmakers, I think this Seattle team feeding off the 12th man has a good game. And they're definitely a top 10 DST this week and a start as well. The next DST is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars going in to Indianapolis versus rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, who I think is going to have a pretty solid season, be a solid fantasy option. But right here, there's not much on this Indianapolis Colts offense, especially with Jonathan Taylor out the first 4 games of the season, possibly more if he just wants to get traded and never come back to this Colts team. But anyway, Anthony Richardson, first career start versus a defense that could go out there and make some plays and get to the quarterback. And this Indianapolis offensive line, we know over the last few seasons, it's been a little bit of a struggle for them. And I know Richardson, he could extend plays with his legs. We know he's got the cannon arm, and he's a big quarterback, 6'3", 6'4", 240, 250 pounds. But I think in this one, Jacksonville gets off to a good start, and the defense comes out over here and starts teeing off a little bit. And like I said, they're going to try to make this team one-dimensional, obviously, with Jonathan Taylor not in the lineup this week, and most likely Deion Jackson or Zach Moore starting for this team. So right now, Jacksonville, they're out there in tons of fantasy leagues still at 72% if you want to stream defenses. But this week, they're definitely a start. For me, next defense is the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles, we know they're going to be a defense pretty much week in and week out. You're going to start for fantasy football. But this week here, I think they could be a top 2, top 3 defense in terms of fantasy points putting up. They got a great matchup versus New England Patriots that pretty much have nobody on the offense over there besides Ramondre Stevenson. Juju Smith-Schuster ain't 100%. They got problems at the wide receiver position here for sure, is this New England Patriot team. And their offensive line isn't all that great as well. So with a great pass rush and obviously secondary led by Demarius Slay and Bradbury back there, this Eagle team, they're going to put up a big ball game. Leave it this New England Patriot team. I know the game's in Gillette, but like I said, I don't think Mac Jones is that good of a quarterback as well. And this Eagle team is going to come out and feast in this one in the 5th and final defense DST unit I would start this week's the Washington Commanders. So this Commander team, I know their defense isn't all that great, but they got a great matchup here to kick it off in week 1 versus the Arizona Cardinals. That could be the worst team in pro football this season, where you got Joshua Dobbs starting at quarterback for this Commander team. It's going to be a long day for him. I know they got James Conner, who's a pretty solid running back, no doubt about it, and Hollywood Brown, who showed last season he could go out there and make plays. But like I said, this offensive line isn't great as well. Kyler Murray, he's going to be out for a decent part of the season. And Joshua Dobbs, like I said, he's been in the league a few seasons, but he's an unknown. And with not many weapons and not a great offensive line, this Commander defense, I think, goes out there and has a good fantasy day. And I'm going to rank them top 5 in my rankings this week at the position, because I think they have a big ball game this week with sacks and possibly could take one to the half. So that's a few defense DST units I look to start here in week 1 of the fantasy football season.